In 2020, CivSource Africa curated proverbs on giving and generosity from across Africa. We wanted to show that giving is part of who we are. It's not some new concept that was introduced to us by the West. We've always done giving, and part of the way we can know that is through our proverbs. After we compiled the proverbs, it led to the project that we did with Miriam and Jim Joel, which was a photography project in which they traversed this country and took pictures of symbols and expressions of generosity in Uganda. And so we're glad to have this conversation with them and glad to go behind the scenes with them to talk about what they saw, what they found, what they felt as they took these pictures across our country. So you're both very welcome.
My name is Jim Joel. I'm a traveler. My traveling comes before my love for photography. And I love nature, I love culture that you find in traveling.
My name is Watsemba Miriam. I'm a documentary photojournalist in Uganda. I'm very passionate about storytelling, and I believe that stories can be a very great avenue for driving change and development at all levels, local and global.
So tell us, when you first received this concept note from CivSource Africa, you didn't know us. What were your thoughts?
First thoughts, like all photographers, I went to the website and checked it out, and what I found on the website was something to do with philanthropy and giving, and I was amazed because I'd never seen an organization whose work is about giving and philanthropy. So it was a new concept for me, especially in terms of civil society, because I'd known giving to only be a thing that is in religious circles.
I think the first reaction in the background was like, yes, someone is thinking. It's like that spark, someone's finally on the spark.
What were your thoughts about giving prior to going to the field?
I felt we all, at whatever level we are, we give. We don't have to always wait for that, it's only those who have that give. But people at different levels give. So you have to find your corner where you can give. You don't have to wait for, let me wait for the government when it's giving us what I give.
So take us to the field with you. What districts did you go to, and in terms of your thinking and how it changed about giving and generosity in Uganda, just walk us through a bit of that.
I went to 9 regions in Uganda, 9 sub-regions in Uganda, starting from Buganda all the way to the north of Uganda. I crossed, I did Kampala, I went to Jinja, I went to Bukedi, I went to Bale, I went to Teso, I went up to Bulu, up to Lira. And what changed most about the concept of giving for me traveling in the field was finding out that giving is at the center of humanity. It is who we are. It is not an act that we do, but it is who we are. It is within our nature. Finding that we're people without borders, really, in actual sense.
I went, there's so many districts.
Yeah, just a few of them. In case you don't remember all of them, just a few that stood out for you.
Hoima stood out for me because it connected all the different western districts, and there was a big basket they used to carry in the sick and the like. To this day, I think it transited into borders they used to carry the sick and the like.
Yeah.
So I realized these elements are still within our community, but just because we do not know how they translated from our cultures to now. And I also realized that another form we used to give was through crafts and art. This was more in West Nile. They would give their particular crafts, they would give. So I try translating in these days, what do we give at different events, if it's marriage, if it's someone becoming a man, if it's friendship, what do people give? And I think my favorite in all this region was the coffee bean. It's still a big element of friendship. Because I've usually traversed these districts in different times, but traversing them within a particular time frame helped me connect the different tribes and appreciate them and cultures, and also see how they're connected.
Yeah. So as we come to the end of this conversation, I'd just like to hear from both of you. We'll begin with Miriam. What are your final thoughts? If you're talking to a young Miriam 30 years from now, and you tell her the greatest lesson from doing this project, what would it be?
I hope she looks back and she can see her part and her role that she played in archiving what our history looks like. When you talk about giving, more than being things, that it is also knowledge, it is also experiences. It's how they are passed on in our cultures as African.
If I was to talk to the younger me 20 years ago, I would tell him, travel these places and understand people, understand yourself, understand your God. Go beyond the city.
Yeah. And I think that's what we were doing in this photography project, that for those for whom travel is a luxury, bringing them in one collection, pictures from across this country about who we are as a generous people is one way to travel.
Yes.
And so we present our coffee book on our generous spirit as one way to travel this beautiful country and get to know our generous spirit.